All expectations about this interview were shattered as soon as the audience heard it. Everyone thought it would be a regular interview between two legends that would make us smile. But it was the opposite. Subscribe, like, and here's how it happened. The host pivots to lighter territory, asking about their personal lives, and De Niro, with a glint in his eye, cuts in before she can finish, his voice low and deliberate. Al, you became a father again at 83. Is that about love or some midlife crisis rerun? Or are you just scared of fading out, proving you're still in the game? The crowd gasps, a murmur rippling through the studio, and Pacino's face tightens, his eyes narrowing as he leans forward, his voice sharp but controlled. Maybe I'm just not hiding behind old age like it's an excuse, Bobby. You scared of losing your grip on life? Or is that why you think money decides who's still got it? The host tries to steer back, but the tension is alive now, crackling between them. And the audience is hooked, sensing this is no ordinary interview, that something raw and real is about to spill out. The questions shift to family, and De Niro, undeterred, leans in again, his tone cutting. You really think that girl's with you for love, Al? Not because you're Al Pacino, with a legend's name and a bank account to match? Pacino's jaw clenches, his fingers digging into the armrest, and he fires back, his voice low, venomous. Maybe you should mind your own business, Bob. You think your political rants are truth? You live in a penthouse, fly private jets, and preach about humility. Give me a break. The crowd is silent now, the host frozen, as the two legends stare each other down, years of rivalry, unspoken grudges, and shared history boiling over, and it's clear this is only the beginning, that something bigger, uglier, is about to unravel. And you can't look away, because what comes next will either break them or expose something no one expected. De Niro, his face a mask of cold calculation, leans forward, his voice cutting through the silence like a blade. All right, Al, let's get real. Where are your kids right now? You talk about family, but when was the last time you showed up for one of their birthdays? Being a father's not just biology, it's time. It's showing up. The audience shifts uncomfortably, the accusation landing like a punch, and Pacino's face flushes, his hands balling into fists as he leans in, his voice low but shaking with barely contained rage. And you, Bobby? You're out here judging me while you're tangled in court with your own kid's mother over money. Like it's some business deal, not a life? That's your idea of manhood? The crowd gasps, a few murmurs breaking the silence, as the host tries to interject, her words drowned out by the rising heat between the two legends. De Niro's smirk fades, his eyes narrowing, and he fires back, "At least I'm there, Al. I fight for mine. You? You're too busy chasing relevance, playing house with someone young enough to be your granddaughter." Pacino's chair scrapes as he shifts, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. You want to talk relevance? You're out here making safe bets, coasting on your name, picking roles that don't challenge you because you're scared to fail. Don't lecture me about courage. The audience is frozen, every word a grenade lobbed across the stage, and the host, now sweating, tries to cut to a commercial, but the producer in the booth signals to keep rolling, sensing the raw, unscripted drama pulling viewers in like moths to a flame. Pacino, his eyes burning, continues, You've always played the tough guy, Bobby, but it's all a front. You hide behind your money, your causes, your image. When's the last time you looked in the mirror and saw someone real? De Niro's jaw tightens, his fingers gripping the armrest, and he snaps. Real? You're one to talk. You're out here living like you're still 40, pretending time doesn't exist. You think that kid you're raising now is going to thank you when you're gone before they hit high school? The crowd's murmurs turn to audible gasps, the line crossing into personal territory so raw it feels like a violation to witness, yet no one can look away. The weight of their words exposing scars neither has ever shown in public. Pacino's face softens for a split second, a flicker of hurt in his eyes before he hardens again, his voice steady but laced with venom. You've Esteli, you've spent your whole life chasing control over your image, your legacy, your fights. But you can't control time, Bobby. You can't buy your way out of that. De Niro leans back, his expression unreadable, but his silence speaks volumes, a crack in his armor as the audience waits, breathless for what comes next. The host, desperate to regain control, tries to shift to a lighter topic, asking about their upcoming projects, But Pacino cuts her off, his voice sharp. No, let's not pretend this is some fluff piece. You want truth? Let's talk about how we both sold out. Me, you, all of us. Because it's easier to play the game than to admit we're just men, not gods. De Niro's eyes flash and he counters, sold out? You're the one rewriting your life like it's a script, Al. New kid, new girl, new chapter, like you can erase the past. I own mine. Can you say the same? The room feels smaller now, the air suffocating, as the 100-year-old grudges, unspoken for decades, spill out into the open, the raw, messy humanity beneath their polished images, jealousy, regret, fear of fading away. The producer's voice crackles in the host's earpiece, urging her to keep it going because the numbers are spiking, viewers glued to their screens, unable to tear themselves away from the spectacle of two titans tearing into each other's truths. Pacino, his voice quieter now but no less intense, says, "You think you're above it, don't you? Above the mistakes, the compromises? But you're just as scared as I am. Scared of being forgotten, of being nothing." De Niro doesn't respond immediately, his silence heavy, and when he finally speaks, his voice is low, almost a growl. Maybe. But at least I'm not running from it. You're still chasing something you'll never catch, Al. The audience is silent, the weight of their words hanging in the air, and just when it seems the tension might break, the host, her voice shaky, announces a quick break, but the cameras keep rolling, capturing the way Pacino's hands tremble slightly, the way De Niro's eyes don't leave his rival's face. And it's clear this isn't over, that something deeper, something unresolved, is still simmering, waiting to explode, pulling you in, making you need to know what happens next because this isn't just a fight, it's a reckoning, and it's far from finished. The host scrambles to regain control, but the energy between the two men is a living thing, untamed, and the audience feels it, their silence louder than any applause. Pacino's fingers twitch, as if he's holding back from standing, while De Niro's stare is unrelenting, a predator waiting for a misstep. The producer's voice buzzes again, and the host, her face pale, stammers through a segue about their contributions to cinema, but it's useless. The room is theirs, and everyone knows it. Pacino's voice cuts through again, softer but biting. You've always thought you were better, Bobby. Better actor, better man. But deep down, you're just as lost as me. De Niro's lips curl, not quite a smile, and he says, Lost? I know who I am, Al. Do you? The question hangs, unanswered, as the lights dim for the break, but the cameras don't stop and the audience doesn't move, caught in the gravity of two giants unraveling, knowing the real show is what happens when the masks come off. And it's not over yet, not by a long shot. The studio lights dim as the host, her voice barely steady, signals a return from the break. But the tension between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro hasn't cooled. It's a live wire, humming with unspoken history, and the audience, riveted, feels the weight of every second. Pacino's eyes, dark and intense, flicker with something raw, a mix of defiance and vulnerability, as he leans forward, his voice low and deliberate. All your life, Bobby, it's been about staying on top, about being the guy everyone remembers. But when the lights go out, what's left? Your name? Or the man behind it? De Niro, his face a stone wall, doesn't flinch, but his voice drops to a near whisper, sharp and cutting. Maybe the question isn't who I was, Al. Maybe it's who's been real this whole time, you or me. The words land like a gut punch. The studio's silent except for the faint hum of the cameras, which never stop rolling, capturing every micro-expression, every twitch of Pacino's hands, every tightening of De Niro's jaw. The host, sensing the moment slipping further from her control, tries to interject with a question about their legacy, but Pacino cuts her off, his voice rising. Legacy? You want to talk legacy? We're both guilty, aren't we? Building myths instead of lives, choosing scripts over people. De Niro's eyes narrow, and he snaps back, Don't put that on me, Al. I've owned my choices. You're the one rewriting your story, pretending you can outrun the clock. The audience is breathless, caught in the crossfire of two legends dismantling each other, their words slicing through decades of camaraderie and rivalry, exposing the fears they've both buried. Fear of irrelevance, of mortality, of being seen as less than the icons they've become. Suddenly, Pacino's voice softens, almost breaking. You ever wonder, Bobby, if we got it wrong? Not the roles, not the awards, the life, the people we left behind to be this. The vulnerability in his tone catches De Niro off guard, his expression softening for a fleeting moment, and he leans back, his voice quieter now. Yeah, sometimes. But wondering doesn't change it, does it? The room feels smaller, the air heavy with the weight of their shared truth, and for a moment it seems like the fight might dissolve into something deeper, something like understanding. But then, out of nowhere, Pacino lets out a low chuckle, his eyes glinting with mischief, and De Niro's lips twitch into a smirk, the tension breaking like a snapped string. The host, confused, stammers, What's going on?" And Pacino, still chuckling, looks at De Niro, who nods subtly before turning to the audience. "You all thought we were going to kill each other, didn't you?" Pacino says, his voice warm now, playful. De Niro adds, "Come on, we've been friends for 50 years. You think we'd air that kind of dirty laundry for real?" The audience erupts in laughter, some clapping, others stunned, as the two men lean back, their faces relaxed, the hostility gone like a well-rehearsed act. The host, catching on, laughs nervously. "Wait, this was planned?" De Niro shrugs. "Gotta keep you all watching somehow." Pacino winks at the camera. "And you're still here, aren't you?" The crowd roars, the energy shifting from shock to delight, but there's a lingering unease. How much was real, and how much was performance? The host, still reeling, wraps up the show, thanking them for the unforgettable interview. But as the cameras pull back, Pacino and De Niro exchange a glance, a flicker of something unspoken passing between them, a hint that maybe not everything was staged, that some truths slipped through the cracks of their act. The lights fade, the audience applauds, but the questions linger. What was real, and what will they carry off this stage? The screen cuts to black, and a voiceover chimes in. Want more raw moments like this? Hit that subscribe button and join us for the next episode. You won't want to miss what's coming.